Roosevelt Watkins here, coming to you live on Live Call In Can TV 21 with Hope Organization. Each week, we're grateful that you're tuning in wherever you may be to another segment of Grassroots Chicago Speaks. Tonight, we have a special guest who's sharing with us, and we'll give you more details of who he might be and where he's from. We're delighted to have him sharing with us. As always, Hope Organization is the organization, one organization in two locations. We're located in in the Inglewood community, 6921 South Halsted. Also, we're located in the Burnside, Chatham, and Chesterfield community at 9231 South Cottage Grove inside of Bethlehem Star Church. Bethlehem Star Church is a church changing a community where we are providing so many services. One of the things that we provide service with is the light and gas program, better known as the LIHEAP program, Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, a program that's designed to assist residents with a payment on their light and gas bill. Right now, we're going through the PIP recertification program. That's a program that gives you a percentage of your income on your payment, where you get monthly payments on your gas bill, light bill. And so if you're interested, or you should have received notification to come in for the PIP recertification program. If you need additional information, you can call in. We have someone at the phone who can give you some information. 312-738-1060 is the number for if you have any questions for the LIHEAP program, Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. Also, we have an after-school program, one of the best after-school program in the city of Chicago, the after-school program that's also known as one of the Safe Haven location. And if you have students that need a place where they need some mentoring and tutoring, some students who may need some assistance with their homework, we provide assistance with homework as well. We also have a technology center, one of the best state-of-the-art technology centers that's around. And so you want to take advantage of all of these free programs that we have available. We also would like to remind you, as we go into this Memorial Day weekend, don't forget, don't drink and drive. And keep in mind that when you're driving, click it or ticket. That's right. We're delighted tonight to have a special guest with us tonight as we prepare to talk about some of the topics that are affecting our community. We're extremely delighted to have one of the rising stars as we talk about Grassroots Chicago Speak. He is one of the grassroots who are in the trenches, and he's talking about some of the issues that are relevant and pertinent to our community. Jasper Hagan is one of a dear friend of mine. Matter of fact, he's one of my fraternity brothers, and I'm delighted to have him. Matter of fact, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you,
too. That's right, Alpha-versary to you as well. He is a member of one of the world's greatest fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Jasper, we're delighted to have you sharing with us tonight. You can tell us a little bit about yourself and perhaps what you do in your neck of the woods.
Well, I'm born and raised from the west side of Chicago.
West side.
West side.
It's the best side.
West side is the best side.
The blessed side.
The blessed side. But like I said, born and raised from the west side of Chicago. Went to a small liberal arts college in Georgia. And now I'm back in Chicago, really just trying to make a difference in my community, but working full-time with a media company here.
All right. Excellent. And you said a little small town in Georgia. You don't want to give a shout out to that school that you claim you attended.
I mean, just a small college by the name of Morehouse.
The house is in the house, Morehouse. He's a Morehouse brother, and we're happy to have. So I know all the Morehouse, the house brothers that are out there. You can call in 312 to give a shout out to one of your house brothers. 738-1060 is the call in number here. This is a live call in show, and so Can TV Live 21. Have the opportunity where you can call in and talk about issues that are pertinent to our community. Let me just remind you of a few things that has taken place, just in case you're looking for something to do over the weekend. Over this weekend, there's going to be a what you call a gospel concert competition, the Battle of the Voices, that are going to take place at Metropolitan Apostolic Church tomorrow night, which will be May 23rd, Friday, as well as the Saturday, May 24th.
So are there going to be some singers in the house?
There's going to be some singers in the house.
There'll be some
And
singers
so
in the house.
they have opportunity to win a competition and win an opportunity of receiving $1,000. So if you win the competition, you can get $1,000 as well as win recording studio time.
Now that's not just for individuals. Is it individuals? Is it
Friday night, great question. Friday night is for individuals. Saturday night is for choirs and praise team. And so if you're individual and you want to have that chance to become another Ruben Studdard and become a sensation, you get that opportunity tomorrow night. Saturday, you get an opportunity with your choirs and groups. So if individuals think they got what it takes, we encourage you to join in and check out this opportunity to win $1,000. So that's taking place on tomorrow. Also want to remind you, but if we have not told you, that Faith in Action is kicking off tomorrow. We continue to talk about the violence that's in the community. One of the things that we want to talk about tonight is the marching or the rallies that are taking place in our community. Is that helping stop the violence? Is that the remedy? Is marching and having all the rallies in our community, is that curtailing the violence in our community? Or should our community do more? Should the churches do more? Should our politicians do more? Should the police department do more? We got Jasper Hagan, who's here with us tonight. We got some callers that are on the line. We got people who are marching all over the city. When someone dies, we see these vigils that take place, and we want to make sure and we want to hear from you. What's your thought about this? Will this stop the violence in the community? Before we hear your comments, Brother Hagan, we want to get to some of our callers that are on.
Callers. They're waiting for us.
We'll take a couple of callers and then we'll hear what Brother Jasper has to say. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. Caller, are you there? What's your name?
How you doing? I'm Nick.
Hey, Nick, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well, man. Good to see you brothers doing what you guys got to do.
Yes, sir.
Shout out. I saw that you got a fellow Morehouse brother on there. I also graduated from Morehouse, so
okay.
Salute to the house there.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. So you brought up the violence in Chicago, and I think Mr. Hagan said that he's from the West Side. What are some of the things that you guys are doing really to address the violence in the streets? And I want to ask Mr. Hagan, as a young man, what are some of the things that you're doing in your community to, lead those that probably look up to you in another direction?
Great question. Brother Jasper?
Well, again, I guess, Roosevelt, you can lead with what you're doing in terms of with Hope Organization and the different things that you're doing in the community. And I'll answer the back end of the question as to what I'm doing for the West Side of Chicago.
Okay, if you can you got a lot of, if you can mute your phone, we'll be more than happy to answer your question. So some of the things that Hope Organization is doing, Hope Organization has after-school programs that we have available Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m., 3 to 7 p.m. The program is designed to assist students to keep them off the streets, because we know that students between the hours of 3 to 7 are 10 times more likely to either become a victim of crime or perpetrate a crime. So we want to keep our children off the street. We keep our church doors open so that our children will have a safe place. We call it safe havens, where we're keeping them off the street and keeping them out of trouble, out of harm's way. We also have technology programs, because we know that technology is the bridge to help stop the violence that's in our community. It's designed so that we can make sure that we're bridging the digital divide. Everything that we do now is through technology. When children do their homework, they have to do their homework on computers, so they have to have access to technology. When they apply for jobs, they have to use a computer to apply for jobs. Even if they're going to go to college, they have to have access to technology and the internet to even apply to go to college. So we want to make sure that our children have that capability where they have access to technology, and we're leveling the playing field. Those are just a few of the things that we're doing, other than making sure that our children have the tools and the resources that they need to have employment opportunity. Our children need jobs. We know that's one of the reasons why we have so much violence that's in our community. It's an economic issue, and so we need to address that. I know you talked about, and we'll talk about, that you feel it's perhaps the environment you can talk about some of the things that you're doing on the West Side, the Great West Side.
Well,
Okay.
well, Nick, I think to your point about some of the things that I'm doing is the whole forefront of what I'm doing is about being the change that I think they should see. And it starts with the basis of mentorship and making sure that I am a resource for the people in the community, that being that I am college educated for those who aren't, if they need help with job applications, if they need help with resume building, if they just need someone to talk to, because it's such a divide that we have, and there's so much anger that's built up with different individuals because they don't feel like they have someone who's an advocate for what they're trying to do, or can really understand what they're doing without being negative, or or just laughing at something because they don't have a greater understanding of what's going on. So on top of the mentorship, one of the things that I've done for the last couple years is host a block club party for my neighborhood, because going back to school, should be something that they pride themselves on. They should be happy that they have a book bag and the supplies that they need to compete and be on an even playing field. And I know that may sound very small in scale, but this is just the tip of the iceberg, and we're just getting started.
I mean, that's huge. It's one individual. When we talk about what can people do in the community, all it takes is one individual. It's called the power of one. And so you're doing just that. You're taking resources out of your pocket so that you can host many of these events in your community. And so it should be commended. Even when we look at just one individual, we have a lot of people who need to see positive role models in our community, because we don't see a lot of positive role models in our community. Most people, when they become successful, they leave the community, but we're grateful that you're still in the community. We got other callers, and we want to get to some of these callers. 312-738-1060. Yeah, thanks, Nick. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. Caller, are you there? And what's your name?
Good evening, gentlemen. When you look at the problems in the black community, it didn't happen overnight. It happened over years. And when you look at the youth in our neighborhoods, it's a matter of a lack of hope, and it turns into despair. And we look at is a lack of education. When you look at these schools in our neighborhoods, they wind up being, especially the schools that are not doing well, they wind up being profit centers for other people where they're making money off of other people's misery. And they look at some of the youth where they're making money by putting them in jail. And you got some people that's in power around Chicago where certain resources is not brought to the South Side or the West Side, and they look at our youth. I have said it many times before. They look at them like the Indian looked at the buffalo, where they used them to feed their stomach and put clothes on their back and use the skins like for the teepees, like on their houses and all that. And that's the bottom line. If you look at some of these schools that we have in terms of services they generate more money than Whitney Young. And we look at the prison system right now, we got people that get like these vendors, they get contracts to provide these services, and these vendors in their contract they said you got to keep the jail population at a certain point. And then when the population go down, whatever, guess what? They go out and get some more people to lock up.
Okay. All right. Point well taken. Appreciate that. Anything you want to say to that?
No, I just want to thank the caller for giving us that great insight. And this is a bigger issue than the three of us can even, conquer during this time. But one of the points that I did want to address is that you talked about the education system, and it happened. It's been a generational curse. But I do know chains can be broken, and if we don't start now, then when will we start? How many times will we continue to keep using the system as an excuse? Whereas we need to look at the 2/3 ratio. 2/3 of the time is spent at home. It's only 1/3 of the day that's spent at school. So we can't put it all on the backs of the teachers. We need to take our responsibility as parents and as pillars in the community to help out those youth.
Jasper Hagan is in the house. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. Grassroots Chicago Speaks. We got another caller that's on the air. Caller, are you there? What's your name? Hello, caller?
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, wonderful. I was calling in per Reverend Roosevelt to talk about the March Against Violence that is being held in Chicago by the National Pan-Atlantic Council of Chicago.
Hey, how are you today?
7th.
Excellent. How are you today?
I am absolutely wonderful. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. All right, tell us about this march that you got taking place. I think it's on June 7th.
It is on June 7th.
All right.
And it is the National Pan Atlantic Council of Chicago in collaboration with the National Pan Atlantic Council located on Chicago State University, which is the undergraduate.
Mm-hmm.
And we are collabing to do a March Against Violence on June 7th here at the Chicago State location. And
if you can turn your volume on your television down a little bit,
Yeah,
we're hearing that echo.
That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, we're getting that
Because I realized
feedback.
there was an echo and I was trying to get to it.
Okay, yeah.
And we really want to that the city of Chicago and our young people know that the Greek organizations are concerned about our young people. And we want to do something to signify that. And that's why we're doing this march. And with this march, we are creating a resource guide.
Okay.
And the resource guide is basically a collaboration of what each one of the organizations are doing for our young people, programs, mentoring. Sometimes we host one-time programs where we get the young people in and give them workshops on some things that we can do to assist them and to avoid some of the violence. So we are very excited about it. We are asking everyone in the community to come out and be a part of it.
Okay.
And we are just looking forward to it.
All right.
This is our second one, and we hope to really be impactful.
All right. So what is the time of this event that's going to take place?
It is, we are asking on-site reservation. On-site starts at 7:30.
Okay.
And the march will actually start between 9 and 9:30 a.m.
At Chicago State University.
At Chicago State University.
All right. Excellent.
At the Quad, and that's the Student Center.
Okay. Excellent. Well, what we would like to do is have you come on the show and give you an opportunity to spend some time to talk about what the Greeks are doing and how they're working to help curtail the violence in our community.
Oh, certainly. I would love to do that.
All right. We'll talk with you offline and make that happen.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Good seeing you, or good hearing you in this case.
Thank you. I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
take care. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. Listen, the lines are lit up. If the lines are busy, hang up and call
back
again.
again.
Let's
Just
call
call
back
us back
again.
again.
And we're here. We want to
We want to
answer
hear from you. We
That's
want to
right.
hear from you.
That's right. 312-738-1060 call-in number. We have our good friend, Brother Jasper, is in the house, from the house, Morehouse, from the west side, sharing with us tonight how we can. We'll take the next caller because the lines are lit up. Caller, are you there? What's your name? All right, that caller hung up. We got another caller. Let's take him. Caller, are you there? Hello, caller. Caller going once.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, caller?
Hi, how you doing?
We're well. How are you?
He was addressing the different homes that's going on as far as this house to start in the home. But there's a lot of dysfunctional families that are there. And I think you should address more of the dysfunctional families by 2014 that can change how some of these young kids come out and they end up raised out and born out in the streets as far as the homes are. Because some of the homes are different. So how can you address that?
All right, great question.
I think thank you so much for that question about the dysfunctional families, and your head on the money with that one, because what we think about is the 16-year-olds that are around in 2014 were raised by the 16-year-olds who were around in 1994. So we really have to look at that home front, and what I think is that if you listen to the last caller about what the Greek organizations are doing and what other organizations are doing outside of the home front, so we're not talking about in school and we're not talking about at home. We're talking about those resources that are in the community in which you can go to, because you're right. There are certain things that are going on inside the four walls of a home that none of us are privy to. And, a child is walking around with all that built up anger, built up frustration, feeling as if they don't have anyone to talk to. But we're letting them know that they do have people that they can talk to, because these organizations can serve as resources to help.
Excellent. We got another caller. We're going to take 312-738-1060 as a call-in number. Caller, are you there? And what's your name?
Hello?
Hello. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah. Ron.
Ron, how are you?
Okay.
Good. Got a question or comment?
Yeah, I want to be brief. The brother from Morehouse.
Yes.
You can turn your television volume. You can turn your television volume down because we're getting that feedback echo. And yeah, you can turn it all the way down. We can hear you, and you'll be able to hear through your telephone. Absolutely.
Okay, I got it.
All right. 3-1.
Okay, the brother from Morehouse. You said your degree is in what?
I never said what my degree is in, but my degree is in business administration with a concentration in management.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard something about media.
No, I said I work in media sales now. I work in the media sales.
Oh yeah, I'm a graduate of Atlanta University.
Okay.
Okay, so right. So the problem I've heard a lot of people talk about the issue of mentoring, and what you fail to understand is that you have to go through a process in order to understand what mentoring constitutes. You mentioned about the issue of 2/3 responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago is involved in the issue of systemic racism. And that doesn't mean that we excuse ourselves. But when you look at businesses and who control businesses in Chicago, construction, and other businesses that we don't take part in. Even if we have masters or PhDs, individually we can accomplish things. But when you start looking at systemic issues that are going on in this city, now the brother over to your right, I didn't get your name.
Roosevelt Watkins is the name, but I need you to get to your point because we only got 3 minutes to go.
Okay.
Yes,
so the brother who was talking about doing something independently, did you say you work for Safe Haven?
No, didn't say I work for Safe Haven. Said that I'm with Hope Organization. We have our doors open as a safe haven for students.
Right, Safe Haven comes from the Board of Education, correct?
No, sir. We created the Safe Haven program, but the Board of Education is now hosting it. Yes.
Ron,
Okay.
Are
you the same brother that took the demonstrators over the crane?
Did I take some demonstrators over the crane? No, sir. I didn't take demonstrators, but there were demonstrators that were over at Crane. Yes, sir.
No, the one that you paid.
No, we didn't pay anybody.
Ron, I feel a rebuttal coming on.
Yeah, I'm just
right in the media. Did you sue the media?
Did I sue the media? No, sir.
The media said that you took paid demonstrators over the crane, and pretended that you were a part of the community.
No, I don't have to pretend. I am part of the community. But again, do you have a point that you want to make,
Ron?
Ron?
Part of Crane. You weren't part of Crane's community.
I'm part of Chicago, so Chicago is part of.
You came in. You
I'm part, and I've come out of the Chicago public school system. So, what's your point?
But I'm just saying.
But make your point.
You talk about the issue of saving the community and you're in cahoots with people against the community.
That is incorrect. But you need to have your facts because that's all I've done all my life is fight for the community that I'm in. So what are you talking about? That's all I do.
It's right in the Sun-Tan. You need to sue them.
Ron, you don't have to.
You were a collaborator with.
Hey, Ron.
Ron, you don't have to acknowledge everyone who says something, do you?
Do you believe everything you read, sir?
I did research on you.
What did you find out?
What I found out was true.
Ron,
what did you find out?
Ron,
so state what you found out.
Ron.
Right, you don't even know the name, but what did you find out?
I don't know what name.
What did you find out? State what you found out, sir.
Oh, you said I don't know what name.
State what you said. You did research on me. What did you find out?
No, I'll repeat what I said. What I said was you didn't know his name to the right of me, and you said
no. I heard it when I turned it on.
Gotcha.
He has the church.
You said you did research. You said you done research, and so what did you conclude?
Well, a lot of people know who you are.
What did you conclude?
I'm not the only person.
What did you conclude?
A lot of people know who you are.
What did you conclude?
Chicago teachers know who you are.
What did you conclude?
The activists in the community know who you are.
But why won't you answer my question? What did you conclude?
Well,
you're stumped because that's what you conclude. You concluded the fact that I worked
for the Tribune, and they said that you paid demonstrators, and the demonstrators said the same thing too.
How many demonstrators say it, sir? How many demonstrators said it? How many? You will not answer. You have not answered any of my questions yet. You have not answered the question that I asked you. What did you conclude? Nor did you answer the question. How many demonstrators?
Oh, let me ask you this question.
But you won't answer my question. How many demonstrators? That's my point. So what you concluded is that I'm an activist in the community. What you concluded is that what I've done in the community speaks for itself. So you've came with nothing other than what you read one time in the paper, but keep reading and you'll see what my records does. It speaks for itself. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. We got other callers that we have, and we got other guests that we're going to bring on. So we're going to do segment 2. We're not going anywhere. We're going to go additional 25 minutes, and we're going to bring another guest on. And so we want to do that at this time. We'll take the caller. Caller, are you there? Let's take this caller. All right, caller, you're not there. Caller, are you there? We'll take our next caller. Caller,
Hello?
are you there? Hello, how are you? Oh, caller, are you there?
Okay, let's get back to the question at hand. Hello?
Hello, go ahead, caller. Caller, go ahead.
The question was about the violence in the city of Chicago.
Absolutely.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What just happened, but I thought that was so inappropriate.
It was. It was.
Okay, I just want to say I'm a single mother of 3. I have 2 children that have graduated. They're in college.
Okay.
I am extremely proud, and I've been involved in their education. I've always been an involved parent.
Right.
I really believe accountability is very important.
Yeah, we hear you.
A lot of parents, I mean, like, when it's 9 o'clock, I know where my children are when they were little.
Right.
Actually, before 9, when the street lights came on, they were supposed to be at home. So I think the marches, I think they're great. But in hindsight, I sincerely believe we need to create some programs that will help empower young parents to just step up to the plate, whether you're challenged with being a single parent, uneducated, what have you. You know, you dealt cards, you play your hand. Don't abandon your children. I think that's the problem.
Okay, good
We
point.
totally agree with you on that in terms of taking the onus, having that accountability start at the home front. And again, you have so many youth trying to raise, we have babies raising babies. So, there's a huge disconnect. And there does need to have, I'm sure that there are programs out there. I can't name any offhand, but if they aren't out there, they need to be created where, that you can teach them how to be parents and how to be, active in their children's lives.
Absolutely. Great point that you're making. We got other callers that are on the air, and then we got another guest that we're going to bring on. So, caller, are you there? And what's your name, caller?
My name is Maurice.
Maurice, go ahead.
I'd just like to say to the unjust caller who just called to try to personally bash Pastor Watkins. I live in the community, and I just couldn't stand there to listen anymore because I've personally seen the work that he does with young people and also in the community that he does a fantastic job. And whenever you're doing the great job, you will always face resistance from some kind. So I just called to encourage you just to keep up the good work, and thank you for being a light in our community.
Yes, sir. We appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
All right. We appreciate you, sir. We appreciate that. And now we switched up our guests this evening. And so we're going to continue with our discussion tonight. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. We got another guest, and we're going to bring we got another caller that we're going to bring our caller on. Caller, are you there? And what's your name?
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Joe. I came to the conclusion a long time ago, these marches do not work. And I tell you the reason why these marches don't work. They're on the south side or the west side of Chicago, and sometimes when they've held these marches, they wind up shots be fired. They should have a rally downtown in the Deli Center and have something like 30,000 people, because that would really make an impact. When they had people was down there downtown marching for immigration, it had an impact in terms of the traffic, in terms of business. And as long as you have these marches on the south side, you're not hitting people downtown in the pocketbook when it's not affecting the Walgreens and the McDonald's and the Macy's, they're not going to care. Because they need to put pressure on the mayor and the other politicians, because that's what really going to hit them. They said, we got to do something. We can't have these folks coming down here having a rally downtown in the Loop. And I still stand. These marches, they have not been effective. If somebody get killed, they have a march. How many marches we've had in the last 5 years? They have not been effective. Why would they have a rally? We got all these churches. Why would they get together and do that?
Okay. Excellent point. Point well taken. Roosevelt Watkins here with Hope Organization Grassroots Chicago Speaks, and we're in tonight with our very special guest. Want to thank Brother Jasper Hagan, who had to leave our first half, sharing with us this evening. And then right now, we're so delighted to have our special guest as we continue with the second segment. We're sitting in for the Father Show that you normally see and hear each Thursday night at this time. And so those of you that are looking for those familiar faces and don't see them, but rather see me, we're just simply sitting in. I'm honored tonight to have the opportunity to sit in with the alderman of the West Side. We got another West Side connection going on, Jason Irvin, who's sharing with us tonight. We'll let him speak for himself. He's of age where he can speak for himself. And we'll talk about some of the great things that he's doing on the West Side, as well as continue to talk about the violence that's in the community. What can be done about the violence in the community? Is the marching rally, is that helping our community? Is that stopping the violence in our community? And don't forget, tomorrow, all across the city of Chicago, Faith in Action is kicking off, where churches are coming outside of the four walls of their churches, and they're going to the corners, the streets, where they're going to be out there from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock. Some people will be outside from 7 to 9. But on 82nd in Cottage Grove, we're going to have crosses on the corner. Each on 82nd, 8200 South Cottage Grove, or 82nd and Cottage Grove. If you need a place where you want to come out and just demonstrate, where you want to come out and just talk about some of the crime that you've witnessed in the community, and you want to come out and pray on the corners. I know some people say these rallies and marches aren't doing anything for our community, but we got to start somewhere. We got to find a way to bring unity and healing in the community. And so tomorrow, all across the city of Chicago, you're going to have Faith in Action that's going to take place. But in particular, we're going to have crosses on the corner on 82nd Street. I want to give a shout out to the 6th District and all the great work that they're doing in the 6th District. Let me get to the West Side. I'm going to move from the South Side to the West Side. We got our wonderful alderman who's in the house, and he's doing a fantastic job. Alderman, we're delighted to have you sharing with us tonight. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, the ward that you're in, the side of town that you're from, and some of the great things that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. As has been stated, I am Alderman Jason Irvin from the 28th Ward on the west side of Chicago. I have the honor of covering many communities and from the 28th Ward. I go all the way from the West Loop at Racine and Adams, as far west as Austin at Washington and Pine. So we have a lot of communities that we represent, including East and West Garfield, Austin, Little Village, University Village, Little Italy, North Lawndale, and now we are moved into the West Loop area. So we have a very diverse ward with lots of people from diverse backgrounds, and it's an honor to represent them in the Chicago City Council. So while we all have some challenges, and I think violence, as I look in my East and West Garfield sections of my ward, those points the previous callers made, I definitely feel what they're saying. It's not a day or a couple of days that goes by that I look in the newspaper and I see a family that has either A, lost a loved one to violence, or B, been a victim of some act of violence. So this is not just a West Side issue. It's not just a South Side issue. It is a universal issue of our community with violence against ourselves. Many of the people that we see perpetrate these crimes look like you and I.
Absolutely.
These are not members of the Klan in white sheets coming into our communities to do this damage. These are the people that we grew up with. These are the people, in many cases, that we know who have decided to take a different path, a different course in life, and have inflicted harm. And it's not as if this is something the majority of the community is doing. This is something a select group in the community that is doing, but it's had a great impact on our entire community. And I'm hopeful that we can work towards some solutions and not continue to talk about the problem of violence that's plaguing many of our youngsters.
Absolutely. And that's what we want to discuss tonight, some of the solutions that we can come up with so that we can resolve the problems that we have in our community. We got some callers. The lines are lit up. Listen, if the lines are busy, hang up, call again. We want to hear what you have to say. Grassroots Chicago Speaks. We want to hear from you. Caller, are you there? What's your question or comment? What's your name?
My name is Mrs. Deonde Brown Whitfield.
Yes.
And my comment is that it's real easy for people to talk about the bad things that our young people do. But for many years, I've been volunteering in the Austin community for 39 years, and I've been working with the young people for higher learning, helping them get scholarships for college. And our young people really want to do well. They have to know that there are people out there that believe in them, that care about them, and want to work with them. So I did get an article published in Austin Weekly last week called Bridging the Gap Through Higher Learning. And we're working on the Juneteenth Peace Walk that's going to be held in the Austin community on June 14th, and we're doing a lot of other positive things. And we have about 6 students from the Austin High School campus that have been accepted into Northeastern Illinois University, and we're doing what we can to combat violence through peace.
Excellent.
Yes, Ms. Whitfield has also been a champion over at Austin High School. She's been president of the Alumni Association for a number of years and been working real hard to help the young people at Austin. A lot of times, a lot of this work behind the scenes may go unnoticed, but definitely the work that she's doing, continues to do at for free, in our community to help, especially in Austin. She's been a champion at Austin High School for as long as I can remember. And I was born in Austin community, so I know that she's been working at this for a long time, working very hard. So thank you for your service, Ms. Whitfield.
Ms. Whitfield, thank you so very much for calling in, and we appreciate all the hard work that you do. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. Roosevelt Watkins here as we continue this dialogue, Grassroots Chicago Speak. We got another caller that's on the air or line. Caller, are you there? What's your name?
Hello?
Hello, caller. What's your name, comment, question?
Man, my name is Committeeman Coleman.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Committeeman.
I'm calling in to see if there's anybody, including this talk show, who realizes that there are 2 terrorist groups in the city of Chicago. One is the Chicago Police, the other is the Chicago Gang. My son was murdered by the Chicago Police December 13th, 2012. And just like the gentleman sitting with you said that he can look at the paper or hear the news every day where some more black folks are dying in our community by black folk, I understand that. But why do these elected officials ignore what the Chicago police is doing to the black community? Why is that?
Okay, we'll take that question, and we have an elected official that's in the House, Alderman Irvin, who's here, and we can allow him to address that.
Yeah, I don't believe that we ignore the challenges that the police department has in the community. What's been happening, what I'm seeing as a member of the city council, is we're seeing a lot of the impact of these policies under the Burge cases. I mean, the city has paid up almost $500 million in lawsuits and settlements dealing with rogue police officers that were under the command of in the detective division. We also have to make sure that we as a community stand up when we find these instances of abuse and issues and make complaints. A lot of times we may have these conversations at our kitchen tables, on the porch, out on the street, but we don't put the information into the system, into the process, be it with the police review board or with the U.S. Attorney's Office, because I believe when you start looking at a systematic history of abuse of a certain group of people in any community, we start talking about civil rights issues and civil rights violations. And these are things that we need to take to our we can't get the results here. And you got to remember, everything that has been a positive step for our community has not come through the traditional processes with the city of Chicago. Those things have primarily been settled in federal court, where we have somewhat of a more even playing field to address these issues. And if we or you or anyone feels that the department or the city is not holding up its end of the bargain as it relates to police protection, police brutality, we definitely need to take these grievances to the courts. We have a situation in Austin with an organization that has done exactly that for data and concerns about how our community is being policed in relation to other communities as to the number of officers that are there, the manpowers that is there. And so these cases, while it's not an instant success or an instant answer, it's the process by which that we as citizens must work to get the results that we need. Now, I know nothing will bring Mr. Coleman's son or daughter back from whatever happened, but we have to seek justice as any one would want justice sought on their behalf.
Excellent point. Listen, we got other callers that are on the line, and we want to get these callers as many as we can. We also want to hear from our alderman tonight. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. Call, are you there? And what's your question, comment, name?
My name is Joe. One of the places that's supposed to uplift and move people up out, into the on the employment road is supposed to be the city colleges. Now you go check Crane Business Report 2013, and I think it was either June or July article in there where in the city colleges the graduation rate is 12%, and they hope to get it up to 20% in the next 4 years. Anybody that know anything about percentages, anything under 60% is failure. And they sitting up, they spend all this money out there to promote these programs that's not working. It's ridiculous.
Okay. We appreciate your comment.
One thing, a lot of times people may not understand the function of City College. I went to City College to take classes when I was out. I'm a graduate of Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, but I went to Malcolm X to take a biology class. I started at Malcolm X. I never graduated. It was not my intent to graduate from Malcolm X. It was my intent to take a class that I was going to transfer credits back to my home university of SIU so that I could get my degree there. A lot of individuals go to city colleges but don't plan on graduating, and some do not graduate. They may graduate in certificate programs, they may graduate in different ways, but everyone is being measured by the same mechanism, meaning that this person started but did not finish. The city college's graduation rate has actually increased in the last 3.5 years, and this year they had the highest number of graduates they've ever had in the system's history. So I think the city colleges are making the strides in the right direction, and they have been more focused on job creation. On the west side, we're looking at Malcolm X College, which is going to be the health sciences college that is linked into the university in the Illinois Medical District, where there are plenty of jobs that are available for people that have the necessary qualifications. So linking the jobs to the education is critical for individuals if they want to be successful and not go to a 4-year institution. Not all kids are going to go to a 4-year college, but we do have some youngsters that may want to go to trade schools. They can go to Olive Harvey for transportation and logistics. They may want to go to Daly College and focus on their specific issue. So again, everyone's not going to graduate, and also we want to put people in situations where they can get to a job or a career of their choice.
Excellent. All right, we got another caller that's on the line, 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. We got Alderman Irvin, who's in the house, and we're delighted tonight to have him sharing with us tonight. Roosevelt Watkins with Grassroots Chicago. Speak, caller, are you there? And what's your name?
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Hi.
I'd like to touch bases on things as the police in the neighborhood. Can you touch bases why in certain neighborhoods, why the police sort of help the neighborhoods than other police? Like the police touch neighborhoods like in the north side of the suburbs. On the south side, it's not being addressed. So can you sort of touch bases on that, Alderman?
When you say they're not, okay, that's not. I will say this: there have been some challenges on what one may feel like having enough police resources in a particular district, or the response times may vary, but depending upon what district you're in and what area that you're in, and that is a challenge, and that's a problem. I expect that we all get the same level of police service, no matter if you're in Inglewood, Garfield Park, or Lincoln Park. We all should have the same expectation that when we dial 911, that someone is going to respond to us in a reasonable amount of time. While I do understand that we've had those specific challenges, we also as a community have to do more ourselves. We cannot expect the Chicago Police Department to ride in on a white horse and save us from us. And again, we need to make sure not only that we're trying to put people from our community in a position to be in the police department, because we have to remember the people are the police and the police are the people.
Right.
So we have to make sure that our youngsters are able to be a part of the department, because I understand there when in the district I live in on the west side of Chicago, it's rare that I see folks that look like me patrolling our community. And that's a challenge. And if someone that hasn't lived in the community, not necessarily understanding the nuances of the community, where two people stand on the corner, then there may be a mob action when it's just two guys greeting one another.
Right.
And so people may have to learn these things, but we need to have our youngsters thinking about careers in law enforcement so that they can help protect our community just as they want to be protected in it as well.
Excellent point. Excellent. Well said point. We got another caller that's on the line. We'll take this caller and then we'll hear from our alderman. Caller, are you there? And what's your name?
Sir, I'm going to rebuttal what you said about the city college. It's what you call big lies and what you call statistics. Now, city colleges had a report done on by NBC where they was talking to the chancellor where they get all this federal money and they do what they want with the federal money instead of doing what they're supposed to do with it. And like, for example, money they supposed to use for people with disabilities that's allocated for certain things, and they don't. I'll give you an example. Go over to Kennedy King, and you check out what I said. See how many computers they have with Zoom Tech. Check out when you try to walk in some of those doors where it's supposed to be accessible for people with disabilities. See how many of those doors work. And I'm talking about facts, whatever. City of Chicago is one of the most racist places there is, because I go to other campuses where they have people walking across there covered from head to toe. You just see the slits of their eyes, and they can wear a mask on their face looking like Batman or the Lone Rangers. They don't bother them, but you walk around on those campuses with a cap on your head, they ready to jump on you.
Okay. All right. Did you want to respond to his rebuttal?
I can't. I really don't have any information on what's happening over at Kennedy King. I know it's one of the newer facilities
Right.
in the system,
new
and
campus.
with ADA standards being what they are, I know that I would hope that the city wouldn't build something that didn't meet standards. Now, if there are maintenance issues, those things need to be addressed. If the automatic door isn't opening or something like that, but I think that I hope that the campus was built correctly.
Okay. Excellent. So you can tell us some of the great things that you're doing over in your ward, and some of the things that we can look forward to as the city. There's a whole lot of things that's going on in the city, and perhaps you just want to bring the community up to speed on some of the great things or some of the things we just need to be aware of.
Well, one thing that we're working on the west side and the 28th ward that I hope that we can get to go citywide is what we call Project Clean Sweep. We need residents to come out of their homes and be a part of what's happening in their community. So we've designated 2 Saturdays a month. On the second and fourth Saturday, we want residents at 10 o'clock to come out of their homes to sweep just on the front of your house,
Right.
to create a sense of community, and also to help clean in front of your home. You'd be amazed at the number of calls that we get for stuff, and when you go out there, it's in front of somebody's house, where there's garbage, there's debris, people haven't picked up, they haven't done these things, and we just want folks to get involved at their own homes. Now, I can understand, I don't expect people to go out and clean the vacant lot down the street.
Right.
The city has to do its part, but we also, our residents and our members in the community also have to do our part in order to make our community successful and better. No one's going to come in here and save us.
Right.
We have to work on a progressive solutions to save ourselves. So Project Clean Sweep, I'm hoping to be a tool for people to engage in the community, for people to work together on their blocks, and for us as a community to come together, not only to make sure we have a clean community, but also talk about safety, talk about the types of things that we want to see as a community and as a people for our city.
Excellent. I like that. So it's Project Clean Sweep.
Project Clean Sweep.
I like that. When
Yes.
you're coming out in your community, taking ownership of where you live and in your community.
And we'll work with you with the rakes, the brooms, and the bags. The only thing we ask is people to come on out. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
So you don't have an excuse if you don't have a broom, rake, bags. The alderman saying that he's providing those resources so that you can come out and clean up the community. I like that. Every Saturday,
The second and fourth Saturdays of the month.
All right.
Yes.
We got some more callers. Caller 312-738-1060. As we continue in Grassroots Chicago Speak, we're sitting in for our good brother who talks about the fathers every week. Caller, are you there? And what's your name? All right. We'll take the next caller. Caller, are you there? What's your name? You can turn your television down so that we won't get the feedback. Hello, how are you, caller? Please turn your television down so that we won't have the feedback.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I was calling about the money that's allocated to the aldermen. They have what you call a war chest, and none of that money ever goes to the community. You're talking about beautifying our community. I'm all for that, but I think aldermen need to be more accountable to the community. You could do things to beautify our neighborhoods like they have other neighborhoods that they use money that should be used for the community. Mm-hmm. And I also don't believe in you saying we don't need nobody to protect us from ourselves. Now, policemen, they police other neighborhoods, and if there's a murder committed in that neighborhood, they go out and they find that suspect. In our community, they always say, oh, there's no one in custody. Do your job. They should be accountable, too.
Okay.
And stop trying to say that, oh, the crime rate is down. The crime rate is not down because they was miscounting the victims, counting one as 4 people being shot, and that's not right. I'm tired of these gangs. And you all need to step up really and truly for the community and not just for your family.
Let me ask you one question. Where do you live, ma'am?
Hello, ma'am? Hello, ma'am?
Hello, where do you live, ma'am? Okay. Well, let me say this. Each ward in the city of Chicago receives $1.3 million in what we call menu funds. These are funds that are used for capital improvements in every ward. Every alderman receives them. If you want to know how your alderman is spending the menu money, that is something that you can request from the Department of Transportation. You can FOIA that information. In the 28th Ward, we spent numerous dollars on improving streets, resurfacing streets, fixing sidewalks, adding residential lighting, things that from a capital perspective to beautify the wards and actually do maintenance on the ward. Over the last 3 years that I've been alderman in the 28th Ward, we've paved well over 200 residential blocks of streets in our community. We worked as feverishly as possible to get this work done, because if you don't uplift the spirit of the community, I mean, driving down a pothole-riddled street can give you some bad feelings about where you live.
Absolutely.
And so we've worked very hard, and I haven't gotten all the streets done, but I can definitely say that we've made a dent in what we saw previously, and we want to continue working with that. Also, to the other point, when I say that the people are the police and the police are the people, people have to help. We can no longer hide behind the curtain of silence. Silence is deadly. And when people are emboldened and continue to commit crime because no one decides to say anything, that is definitely a reflection on us. Now, one thing that I was taught very early on is that we are not going to live on our knees. I am not going to live on my knees. And if that means that I have to get involved in situations that's going on in my community so that I can stand up as a man and not live on my knees, then so be it. And I wish that I had more brothers that would take that same approach as men in our community, because if you show me a block where some men that are actively participating, I'll show you a block that's doing very well. But if you don't have men or men that are going in the house, closing the window, watching the game and drinking beer, then those are some blocks that probably are in turmoil.
Okay. Listen, we got one last caller we're going to try to squeeze in. Caller, are you there? We got 30 seconds.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Yes. Listen, I heard this comment that was given before by this gentleman about the police. Chicago Police Department is based on white supremacy.
You got 15 seconds, caller.
And if he is an automatic person, there's a black caucus that should be doing something about public safety with the folks that are active in the community.
Okay, we appreciate that. I'm not cutting you off, but we are out of time. Alderman Jason Irvin is with us. You got about 30 seconds to give us any closing remarks, and we got to wind it up.
I got you. Thank you for having me on today. I normally be here with Reverend Jones and Fathers Who Care.
Absolutely.
But we're one city. I know that you're in Inglewood, we're in Garfield Park, but we are one city, we one community, and we are one people. I do agree that we have to do something better and work together with the police, with everyone, because again, if it doesn't start with us, we can't just hand these issues over to the city, hand them over to the police department and tell them to solve them without us being actively involved in them. Thank you and God bless you.
Reverend Jones, we miss you this week, but we know we'll see you next week. Roosevelt Watkins sitting in with Grassroots Chicago Speak. We're out of time, but we definitely are not out of information. We'll look forward to seeing you on next week as we continue the discussion. Don't forget tomorrow, Faith in Action, all across the city of Chicago. I know you got some people.
Yeah, I'll be in 3 locations: Laramie and Kinsey, West End and Keeler, and then at Orr High School on Chicago Avenue in Pulaski.
Oh, you're going to be all over the
place.
Yeah,
I try to make all these events. I'm actually, a friend of mine, Isaiah Thomas, is going to be joining us. So we're going to be out in the community practicing Faith in Action.
You got Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Where you going to be at so I can get over there too?
Nah, you see, we're going to be everywhere. You know, we're going to be like the air and the wind. We'll be all over. But again, it's a young man. I mean, I'm just glad that he's decided to come back to the community, the west side of Chicago, his home where he was born and raised, and wants to make a contribution to the community. So we want to support brothers that are going to do that in our community, that are from the community, and I need more like him to come back and be a part of what's happening in Garfield Park and on the west side of Chicago.
All right, we got a campaign on the south side, Faith in Action. We got the corners and the crosses on 82nd and Cottage Grove. We'll be kicking it off at 6 p.m.
If you come back, you bring me some wings from Kurt's. Right there on 82nd and Cottage. If you come back to the west side, make sure you bring those wings.
We'll bring those wings. Yes, sir. Right. We got you faded. Right. We got you faded. Roosevelt Watkins, we appreciate it again. We're in with the Alderman who's doing a great job on the west side, Alderman Irvin, and we're delighted to have him. We're out of time, not out of information. We'll see you next time. Thanks.